A yoga practice to ease low back pain and tightness. And a couple of blocks work good. So join me on the mat. Two blocks are better than one. So to ease low back pain and tightness, we want to think about separating the rib cage from the hips and lengthening that area in between, getting long throughout. So even as you're going up and down from the floor, we'll keep that area long in mindful transitions. So we'll start, and you can just lower down, keeping the waist long as you go. Stack your blocks and have a seat on them, hero pose. Two blocks are better than one here. For more fun here, pull your butt out so the pelvis is tilted forward. And you can think of the sacrum bone, that flat triangle bone in the small of your back, is tilting inward, tilting forward. And from that space, you can find openness in the front belly and lift tall. Now, a tendency here, since we're not used to doing that, is to just fall backwards. But you want to keep the low ribs full as well. Sometimes I check to make sure they're full by putting my hands here and then expanding with a breath to make those bigger. That's crucial in keeping the separation between the hips and the ribs that is so healing in these exercises. So sit up tall. But still have a curviness into the spine. Let your ears tilt back, arms straight. Let your shoulders lift up like smiles. Your center back gets full and broad. Start to take deeper, deeper breaths. Pumping blood and oxygen through the body. Close your eyes and imagine your rib cage floating towards the ceiling as your waistline gets long. Let your ears tilt back slightly. Take your hands to heart center, prayer hands. Lean back slightly into your back body. And then keep fingertip connection. Reach a globe forward, holding a ball, elbows wide. Fill into those low back ribs again and lift waistline. Open your eyes and take the arms forward and push them forward, making your back so bright and broad and big. Push your hands forward. And then lift up tall. Take both hands to the side of the head, ecstasy arms, elbows forward, and then lift your elbows towards the sky. Keep your waist long. And we'll crescent, arcing to the left. At the same time we're arcing left, we're still Pushing the head back and the hips back. Still keeping big, low rib area. And you can add a little bounces in here, exploring openings of fascia. And then inhale, bring it back center. The exhale, we'll crescent to the right. Push your head back, elbows towards the nose. Fall into your back. And then come back center. It's hard if you've never done it before. We'll cross the right hand to the outside edge of the left thigh. Keep your chin in line with the breastbone as you twist to the left. You can look for a little bounce or space here. Now avoid just opening the elbow or turning at the neck. Keep the line of the chin on the sternum, the elbow towards the nose. So you might not get as far in your twist. And then take both hands forward. We'll try it the other side. Twist to the right. Keeping rib cage floated as you twist. That tailbone moving upward. Use your breath to pump bigger ribs. It's like they fill with helium and lift higher each time you breathe. Set your blocks aside. Maintaining that long-waisted posture as you transition to all fours pose. Set up with your knees a little bit behind your hips and your hands as wide as your mat, a little bit forward of the shoulders. That way we take up a lot of space on the mat. Start to pump a big breath into that fullness of the low back area and the between the shoulder area. Breathe big and expand your whole rib cage. Get puffy there, get full. Elbows wide. Okay, once you're nice and full there, pull back on the tops of your feet and energetically press the knees away from each other to lift the tailbone. Now, your ribs might have collapsed there, so let's breathe those, pump those big up again. So now the hips are lifted and the rib cage at the same time. Reach the crown of your head forward and start to pump back and forth. And activation in the backs of your legs. A pushing out motion in the sides of the legs. And a pumping up motion in the heart space, in the rib space. Come to your elbows, but keep your heart lifted high, the rib cage lifted high. As if it is pushed away from the floor, stretching the skin between your shoulder blades. Deepen the low belly to make it long as the hips lift and sits bones open and widen. Pulse it out. and explore. Think about corseting your low belly here, not just in the front, but all the way around, and then lengthening, making it longer. Come up back onto hands. Squeeze at the base of the palms, tuck the toes under, and lift up to hands and feet, crouching cat. Keep the tailbone lifted and the heart full, separating long waist. Couple pumps here, opening up the backs of the legs, and lower down. Now, when you're first activating and training your glutes to start doing the work, your low back forgets. And it wants to go back to its old style of doing all the work and cramping up and getting tight. But as you start to train your glutes, you can train the low back to soften and let go. So think about that as we move along. How can I soften that low back area and distribute the stress and some unused areas to help out? Tuck the toes under, waist long, using the glutes, and then twist the toes and the knees to the left. Tap your hip on the floor far away from your hands. Oh yeah. And then breathe into this space here. So the hips should have landed a lot behind you. And if they're not, you can scoot them back. And it's okay if you just explore this area. I didn't feel this one at first. It took a while, but when I did, wow. Tuck the toes under, lift up, and then we'll slip it to the other side. Toes swivel. Set the butt down behind you. I'm even sitting off of the mat. I'm sitting so far behind. And then breathe into those low ribs, expand. Make the waist long. Release what is bound and get longer. You can wiggle it out, finding room in the fascia. And then tuck the toes under, lift the heart, swivel the hips, toes and knees to the left, sit down. I keep my feet, balls of feet, connected here. That enables me to draw up a muscularization in the back of the legs and use it so I can soften the low back. It takes the load off. It takes the load off. And then twist back to all fours. Resist knees away from each other, so the hips back, and float the heart up. Step the right foot forward. And then come to standing, maintaining that long waist alignment. There we go. And then move around a little bit. Feeling the buoyancy that you've created so far with this broad and lifted circumferential expansion of a rib cage. Makes it feel lighter on your feet. Okay, step your feet a little bit wide. Keep your toes down and swivel your heels in, like you're riding a big horse. Maybe you can go a little bit wider. Sit your sits bones back at the same time. Let them spread open. So instead of tucking under and closing the sits bones, we're going to send them back and up. Keep your toes down and lighten the heels. That's going to enable you to turn on the backs of the legs and then soften the guy that's doing all the work, the low back. Yeah, he works so hard all day. Can you take the load off? Make it long, make it soft. Use these guys. Breathe in. Cool. Take the hands to recovery or outfielder pose, and then press the right shoulder forward. Keep the heart lifted full here, so don't squeeze and collapse your ribs to get a bigger twist. Left shoulder forward. Send the butt back as if I was behind you and I'm pulling your thigh bones back. Feels pretty good. You can pulse out the backs of the legs. Good. All right. We'll stand up and we'll keep the belly long as we do step together. Keeping the heels light and the knees bent, we connect to the floor. Take your heart and lift it up. Chin, eyes to the horizon. Take the right foot to the inside of the left leg, up high or low. Stick the groin creases back. Keep the standing leg bent. Bring your fingertips and straight arms to lift your heart tall. Breathe into that low back area. Make sure we're not locked, testing it with a pulse. Go tall. Slip the right ankle to the top of the left knee. Sit back, tail up, waist long, and then angle the right knee up. You can hold the knee and the ankle, or maybe lift up. Lots of back leg here. Keeps you from gripping in the low back. Mindfully, step back to your spot. Sway it out. Eye gaze catches 180, everything, all the visual information coming in at once. Transfer the weight to the right leg, tailbone lifts, waist long. Open focus, left foot, pressures inside to the right leg. Right leg, springy. Heart lifts full. You can pulse here. Cross the left ankle to the right knee. Cross ankle squat. The front of the foot holds the pose. Back of the leg equally charged. Soften the low back and lift the ribs. And then stand back to your spot. Seaweed sway it out, stepping wider on the mat. Stepping wide, pretty wide, belly long. Bend the knees, bend the knees. And then come back to all fours pose. Tuck the toes under, lift up crouching cat. Separating the hips and the heart. So the hips are going back behind me. The heart is going forward. I could have a soccer ball on my back right now and it wouldn't roll off. And imagine I'm standing behind you, pulling your hips towards me. And then your rib cage is going tug of war other direction. It's pretty fun. Twisted cat to the left, so the toes and the knees swivel to the left. Sit your booty on the floor by your feet. And sit back behind you off the mat a little bit, yep. And then slide to the side. So the butt's back behind you, the belly is long, the low belly is long, and the legs are stacked at 90 degrees here. Side bow. Take the left hand and place it behind the head. Elbow towards the nose, and you push your head back into that hand. Bowing the body open. Separating hips from the heart. Using that head-hand resistance to open yourself into and release. Take the top leg and put it on the floor in front of the other. Bring your left forearm forward. Couple breaths here. And keeping the heart full, walk yourself back onto Sphinx arm, keeping the legs exactly where they are. Tuck the chin to the chest, but lift the back of the neck, the occipital bone towards the ceiling. Lift the low ribs towards the ceiling. Sacrum tilts in. Yeah, get high. Now tilt the head back. Push your knees and your feet into the floor. And find a little pulse. Elbows can resist each other to help you pull the tug of war, waist and hips away. Lift your left elbow, and then sweep your right hand through. Supine twist. Yeah. Push your right hand into the floor for resistance, and then push the left hand towards the ceiling. And pulse the left hand into an imaginary resistance. So we're not collapsing into a twist, but using a tensegradal resistance to massage open the fascia. And then come back mindfully to your belly. Press up to your hands and then lift into the crouching cat. Simplify your cat, fill it out. And then twisted cat right. Sit the booty down by the feet, hips behind you. Keep both feet connected to the floor here. And find a pulse that works that area out. A dig and drag back action with the right foot helps carry that out. Take the top leg on the floor in front of the bottom leg and then slide into your side. Press hips, knees, and feet into the floor. Take the right hand to the back of the head. And then breathe into the full ribs. Press the head back into the hand. Open the belly. With the top leg on the floor in front of you, keep the legs where they are and walk yourself onto Sphinx arms. Now this pose is great for really touching on those tight low back muscles. Looking for more space. Lift up the right elbow, slip the left arm underneath it, come to your side. And then once again, find that imaginary resistance to help you grow and open in the twist. Press your knees and feet into the floor to root. Find a tone in your wings to rise. Roll onto your back and shift to the center of your space. Untuck your tailbone. Low belly gets long and deep. Walk your rib cage just a little bit away from your hips, but let your hips drop deep and heavy. Tilt your head back and take the feet off the earth. The waistline gets super long and tapered here. Corset the waist region and then make it longer. Heavy in the hips. Turn on the back of the legs to keep you rooted. Twist to the left. And twist to the right. Head back, heart back. Wings forward. You're going to take the feet down. Take the arms down to the side and extend the legs long. Untuck the tailbone and bring the palms to the earth. Start to bring an awareness to your body. Take a big breath in and then exhale it out through the mouth or the nose. And then roll onto your side. And slide yourself to seated, let the heart lead the way. And you can take a block or two and sit on it in a cross-legged position. Pull the buttocks flesh out. Rotate the thigh flesh inward. Creating space to float up from. Reach the hands forward and connect 10 fingertips. Elbows wide, big circle. Lean back into your body. Press the palms together. And then open your heart outward. Namaste.